Hi everyone, my name is Karen and welcome back to my channel Rather Be Reading. I'm here today to wrap up May week 3. Woohoo! I'm actually filming this in a timely fashion, which is awesome, so go me! I managed to read 3 things in the 3rd week of May, so I'm just going to jump straight in and let's talk about what I read. The first book I completed in the 3rd week of May was Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I do have a review up. This book follows our main character Anna, who is on spring break in Aruba when her best friend Elise is murdered and she is the prime suspect for her murder. As I said, I've got a full review up for this, which I will link down below for you guys to check out. The first part of that review is spoiler free, and then it does get into some spoilery content, but I absolutely loved this book. I did only give it 4.75 stars because I did have a few problems, but I know it will be in my favorites of 2015 because I just thoroughly enjoyed this. So yeah, 4.75 stars. Loved it. The second book I completed in the 3rd week of May is Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. This is, obviously, as you may be able to tell from the cover, has been made into a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Haven't seen the movie. I am planning to watch it soon, even though I didn't enjoy this book too much. I only gave this book 2 stars. I just found it really boring. The characters weren't likable at all. The story was kind of depressing. It just kind of dragged on. Didn't really seem to have that much point to me. And so yeah, I just really didn't enjoy this very much, so I only gave it 2 stars. But I am still gonna check out the movie and see if that's any better. But yeah, 2 stars. So the 3rd book I completed in the 3rd week of May was Midnight by Eve Eschenbracher. This is another book that I was approved for from NetGalley, so thank you to Booktrope for approving me to read this one. Unfortunately, I really didn't enjoy this book. I gave it 1 star. That's not to say, like, let me please say before I get into this that this is just my opinion. Just because I really didn't connect to this book and really didn't enjoy it does not mean that there aren't people out there who will enjoy it. But I've got to be honest about my opinion, and I just really hated it, to be honest. The dialogue is awful. It just doesn't sound like how people talk at all. There is insta-love in this book of like the worst order. Like, this is the worst insta-love I think I've ever read. She has like just met this guy, like literally just met him, and then she has a weird dream about him, and so she calls him up in the middle of the night, which already I was like, no, you just would not do that. And then he comes over and she lets him into her house, into her room, and I think maybe she's met him twice at that point, but still, even having met him twice, it was just ridiculous. And then, like, they sleep together. I mean, I don't really think that's a spoiler because, as I said, it's early on in the book, but I'm not saying, like, I'm not a prude or anything. I don't think that you have to have met someone a million times but they were just so into each other and just, and it just seemed so fake, and I just wasn't enjoying it at all, and there was like, I just didn't like it. I'm sorry, I just realized I didn't even say what this book was about. I just got straight into my thoughts about it. This book follows a main character, Karen, who meets a boy and he's different. It's a vampire story. Again, I don't think it explicitly says that in the synopsis, but it's not really a spoiler because you do find that out pretty early on, and it's basically about her relationship with a vampire. But she also he gives her the skill, like brings out a skill in her that she can travel through the midnight, which is kind of basically means she can travel back in time when she sleeps into his past. So yeah, it deals with that as well. The vampire reveal was awful. It felt very reminiscent of Twilight, and I'm not bashing on Twilight. I read Twilight, the Twilight Saga, and I loved it just like most other people loved it. Even if they don't admit that they loved it now, they probably did. And it was just, it was bad. Also, the best friend in this is a bitch. I could not believe that someone would be best friends with this girl after she's gotten together with him, and the best friend's basically just saying to her, oh, don't you think he's like too good for you? Isn't he like really out of your league? What kind of a best friend says that? Like, I just thought that was awful. But then at the same time, our main character Karen wasn't that great of a friend to her either. Basically, she gets attacked by this guy, basically. He takes advantage of her, and the friend kind of just glosses over it and doesn't really care, and the friend's getting in trouble because of something that this guy did, and again, the friend doesn't really kind of go to bat for her, and I just, so the friendship wasn't good, the relationship wasn't good, the plot also just had some real holes in it. There were parts in it that just didn't make sense, and I'm sure as you can tell by everything I'm saying, I feel really bad about panning this book, but I just really didn't enjoy it. It really seemed like all these other things were put into the book just as an excuse to write a really bad vampire romance. And yeah. So unfortunately, I didn't enjoy that book, but as I said, if it does sound like something you would enjoy, like maybe I read Twilight years and years ago now. I mean, I'm 26 years old. I'll actually be 27 in another month. So maybe I'm just a bit too old for these kind of books now, and I can't get into them. So I don't know. If it sounds like something you would enjoy, then do pick it up. I don't want to put anyone off, but I personally did not enjoy it. And as I said, I gave this 1 star. Now, as I am finally doing this weekly wrap up in a timely fashion, I am going to touch on the things that I plan to read for the final week of May. I am currently reading If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. This story follows our main character Carrie, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, who is living in a trailer basically with no running water, no electricity, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, with her much younger sister Janessa, and the mother has basically abandoned them, and the father and a social worker come to find them and bring them out of the woods where they have been living basically their whole lives, and it just kind of follows their story. I am enjoying it so far. I'm not too far into it. I'm 68 pages in, but this book is only about 260 pages, so I should get through this pretty quickly. I am enjoying it so far. I'm having a little bit of a problem with the dialogue and the way that the characters speak, but I do know that that is because of the way that this character has grown up. But anyway, this isn't a wrap up, and I will get into more of my thoughts when I do wrap this up in my May wrap up. So yes, I am reading this. Following on from that, I am planning to pick up Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I'm trying to read much more classics this year, and at the moment I'm trying to work my way through Jane Austen's works. So far this year I have read Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, and now I'm moving on to Mansfield Park. I actually don't know what this one is about. I know it follows the character Fanny Price, but I actually don't know what it's about, but I have enjoyed both Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, so hopefully I will enjoy this one as well. And the final book that I am planning to pick up in May is Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This is another NetGalley read, and I believe this is an adult fiction story, and I think it follows a character who suffered a severe public humiliation when she was in high school, but she's since gotten older and like reinvented herself, and she's got like a, you know, a fiance and a great job and money and clothes and all those things, but she is still hiding a dark secret, and that's all I really know about it, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. So that's everything I've read and what I'm planning to read, but the third book in my book depository order that I mentioned in my wrap up from May week 2 arrived in this week as well, so I'm just going to quickly show you that, and that is The Apostle by J.A. Curley. This is, I think it's the 12th book in the Carson Ryder series. I have read all the previous books and I own them. I don't know if, oh, yeah, right here. These books you can see here, they are J.A. Curley books. I haven't read this one yet. This is the most recent one that he has published, but I am looking forward to reading this. This is similar to the Harry Bosch series that I've spoken about before in terms of that it just is a series of books following a detective who solves crimes. And yeah, I really enjoyed them, so I'm looking forward to picking up this one as well. So that's everything I've got today. Please like, please comment, and please subscribe. But that's all I've got for you today. Bye, guys.